Here we go. Here we go again. Here we go. Here we go again. Here we go. Here we go again. We're going to play with the Marshall Mode 4. Let's do it. All right. Here's the intro song. How's it go? Dude. All right, let's go through the setup again. It's the same thing, except we're not doing 2 amps this time. We're just doing the Marshall Mode 4. And this thing has 4 channels. So you hit those buttons and it goes to those channels. But yeah, we'll go through that. We are going to boost this bad boy through the noise gate and straight into the amp. Going into my V30 cab over here with the E609 and the SM58. Let's do it. Alright guys, welcome back to the show. Today we got the Marshall Mode 4, and this is a hybrid amp. I think I've read somewhere that this had 4 preamp tubes. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I did not do my homework before I did this. I'm just going based off of what I saw. And there's a lot of people who could give a crap less about this amp. And I won't lie, you know, like I've had this amp for maybe several months now. I got it from a guy from Tennessee, awesome dude. He's in the Randall and the modules and all that kind of stuff too, just like I am. Tone chaser. I got this because everybody passes it up. You know, everyone thinks about the valve state, the amp that Chuck Schuldiner played, whatever. There's so many videos on that thing. But I wanted to go through this Marshall Mode 4, and usually this is paired with that 400 watt cab. It's like their oversized version of the Mesa cab. And they also have a 240 watt version as well. I think the 240 watt had the V30s, and the 400 or 300 watt one had something else, I forget. Anyways, I'm telling you guys, if you've never played this amp before, you are missing out. All right, so there's 4 channels on this guy. There is an FX loop on this, and it's one of the FX loop that you can blend in with the sound of your amp. You cannot go one or the other. You can't go in synchronous operation. It's actually asynchronous. That's my DBA stuff coming out of me. A lot of people, I think, pass this one up because I think it does have a really good crunch tone, and people who just like the crunch tone would be like, okay, cool, that sounds awesome, I really dig it for that. And then when they get over to the high gain stuff, they're like, ooh, I don't even want to mess with that because it's just so flubby sounding. It just lacks clarity and all this kind of stuff. And those are the guys that are missing out using the SD1 to clean up that low end and give it that extra bite to it. And man, it makes it awesome. As you guys listened to on that first clip on the intro, I think it's pretty good, man. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this. We're going to first start off on the clean. So there's 4 channels. There's a clean, there's a crunch, there's an OD1, and an OD2. Start off by telling you that the first channel and the second channel are very Marshall driven. The channel 3 is still Marshall. I think they put this one here so you can have the second channel on this side. That's my thoughts about it, but let's see. But the 4th channel is totally Mesa, like triple rec feel to it. Like it scoops out the mids, big bottom fat end, and a nice sizzle top. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back at noon. just to tell you that these channels do share the EQ and the gain. So all these buttons here are going to be for these two channels, and all these buttons here are going to be for these two channels. The difference between these two is this one has a tone matrix. We'll talk about that when we get there. Let's go ahead and hear the clean. I have a foot pedal down here, so I'll be able to flip through stuff using this. Let's go ahead and bring down the gain. All right, so here's the clean. Now, it's pretty cool because you can run your effects loop, and you have to do the return and the send. You pop it in there, and you have an FX control here that you can control how much effects is in your channel sound. So you can blend them. So it's a dial that you can go back and forth. You know, all the way to the right is all the effects. All the way to the left is all the preamp on the actual amp. All right, so here's pretty clean, pristine kind of thing going there. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the gain on that. Let's bring down the master volume now. Ooh, it's pretty loud. So as you can see, we're already getting into that little bit of like, you know, on the edge of breakup kind of deal. So you got that within here. I will note that I have the presence all the way down on this amp. There's a resonance and presence in the middle here, and I keep it all the way down. Maybe that's something that everybody else is just like, man, this thing's too bright, something like that. But I'm telling you, this amp's got tons of low end, tons of it. All right, so. Very Marshall-like, right? All right, let's go ahead and go over to channel 2, to the crunch channel. All right, so mind you, I do not have the overdrive on. This is with the gain at 3 o'clock. Let's bring it back to halfway, to noon, and see what that sounds like. That's a good bit of gain. And very Marshall-like, right? And it's got that really good low end. And tell you what, let me go ahead and use the presence and show you what that sounds like. All the way up. Ugh. I'm okay with it being all the way down, but if you need a little bit of that, we can do that. Now mind you, everything is at noon for this. From here, I would give it a little bit of treble. Let's go 2 o'clock. That was the corniest riff I've ever made in my life. All right, so there you go. That's an awesome crunch. That is a good Marshall crunch sound. And, you know, maybe you're not convinced yet, but let's go ahead and boost it with the SD1 and see what that sounds like. All right, that's boosted. The distortion's all the way down, level's all the way up, and the treble's about 2 o'clock. See? That's awesome. I love that. Let's actually bring the master back up a little bit because it's a little low. Okay, that's good. Now I feel like that's a little too much treble. I'm gonna bring back the mids a little bit and bring up the bass, just like I like to do it. Oh. I'm gonna bring back the treble on this guy back to noon. See what that sounds like. I have to keep a close eye on the clip. I don't want it to sound like crap when you listen to this. Okay, let's go ahead and bring up the mids a good bit to about 3 o'clock. Still clipping. And I have to say, usually with solid states, you start turning them up, they start falling apart. At least from my experience. This amp, no. It's got so much headroom in it that you can blast this way above your bands. And that's a lot coming from me being a tube amp guy and needing the extra little bit of power, because I don't typically mesh well with the 50 watt amps because it just doesn't sit well in a band setting for metal for me. This thing, no problems. I'm telling you, if you want an awesome amp and you want some killer thrash tones, Marshall tones, and Mesa tones, and we haven't got there yet, this is it, man. All right, so that's pretty much that channel. And I'll go ahead and show you, I'll boost the bass up a little bit more. It's on the edge of clipping. But you see it's still tight. But okay, let me show you what it sounds like without the super overdrive. Clipping. You see, it just doesn't really cut that well. And mind you, we still have the gain at 12 o'clock. Let's go ahead and bring that up to 3 o'clock. It's just going to get flubbier, but... yeah, no. See, I can see why people pick this up and be like, turn it up and try to get that metal tone out of me, like, whoa, oh no, no. Okay, all right, with the SD1 on again. There we go. All right, let's go over to the OD1 channel and let's just see how close these sound together. All right, so let's go to OD1, see what that sounds like. So here's the crunch channel first. Here's OD1. Oh, it's a lot less gain. But listen to that little, the chug to it. That reminds me of that Mesa voicing. The gain's at noon. Let's go ahead and bring it up to 3 o'clock. Okay. That's a really usable, awesome tone there too. Maybe you can't just switch over and have the Marshall tones here. That's what I was initially thinking, but the gain is a lot lower on this. But there might be a problem with the preamp tube here. Maybe, not sure. But I think this is by design. So if we go back to the crunch, a lot fuller, very Marshall throaty, not throaty, but just like very mid-forward kind of sounding, right? And OD1. See how kind of the mids just kind of just fell out there? And the scoop button isn't on. We're not even going to play with that. Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't on the other one. But I'll go ahead and show you. This is the scoop. That to me sounds like a valve state. All right. And from this I would want a little more treble. Go back to the crunch. You see a difference in tone there? Let's bring up the gain all the way up. See what that sounds like. We're going to bring the volume up just a tad too. Crunch. OD1. You know, I think maybe these set of channels are supposed to be modern. I think that's what it is. Because that has a really tight end, low end. So let's talk about this tone matrix thing here. I think it's the same take on the PV-XXX's loose, medium, and tight. I think it's the same deal. Because whenever this was on 2, which would be medium, for this to be on tight, this is what it sounds like. And medium. I can kind of hear a little difference in the mids a little bit, but I don't understand exactly what this is for. I know that the low end definitely steps up each time you go up on it. So here's the loose portion. Go back down. Medium. Okay. To 1, which is the tight. So you can play with that for whatever your needs at the time. All right, so let's put this back at noon. And let's go over to the 4th channel, which is OD2. I'm gonna go ahead and put it over there, but I'm gonna leave the SD1 off. Okay, now do you see what I mean? Think Mesa. Mesa Boogie. Mesa triple rectifier without an SD1. That's what I'm picking up from this thing. Which can be transformed into something very awesome. And that's what we're gonna do. So, just to play with it a little bit as far as the EQ and stuff. Bring up the gain to about 2 o'clock. It's just, no, it just does not work for me. Let's try bringing the mids back. Not that we should. Bring up the bass. You see how thick that sounds? I mean, obviously, this whole time I've had the resonance up about 3 o'clock because I like it like that. And the presence has been all the way down. Let's go ahead and bring the presence up to 3 o'clock and see what that does for it. Mesa. Maybe not with that tube clarity that it has, but I mean, that's Mesa all day. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the SD1. Ready? I mean, that's pretty Mesa to me compared to the crunch channel, okay? We're gonna go back to that this channel that I love so much and compare with the SD1 on. Whoa. You see how forward that is? Like, we have the presence all the way up. I'm gonna bring that back down. And OD2, which is the 4-channel. Let's bring up the treble. And then the crunch channel. So that was in a tight setting too. Let's go back over to, you know, this little tone matrix button. I'll put that back up to loose. Now let's see what it sounds like. It's just too much, man. Oh, it is clipping like crazy. Let's bring the bass back down. Let's try to go 11 o'clock. Okay, there we go. I like that. And then back to the crunch channel. What do y'all think? I think this Marshall Mode 4 is an awesome amp if you know how to tweak it and dial it in. Don't let this one pass by you. I really think if you give it a little bit of time to play with it and find what you can use with it, like this is a great backup amp. It's 300 watts, which I think it's 150 per side. So you could run 2 cabs at 150. That's pretty freaking awesome. It's just huge. And I promise you, in a band setting, no one can touch you as far as how loud you can be. DND out.